What's something illegal that should be legalized? Getting vaccinated without parents' permission. Customer service employees hitting people. Whatever, wait, that's illegal memes are about. Not completely sure if this law is still around, but in Montana, 7 or more Native Americans together is considered a war party, and it is legal to shoot them. I've heard it's the same with Mount Pocono, here in my beautiful state of PA. A group of 5 or more Native Americans are to be considered a raiding party and may be killed on the spot. Braiding hair without a government license. Pretty sure some cities have mandatory licensing laws for dog walking businesses. For money you missed a pretty important part. All drugs and anything that you do to yourself that won't harm others. They can harm others when high. Then they should be punished for the harm they caused. The UK needs to catch up with the rest of the world and legalize the act of suspiciously holding a salmon. What's with the salmon and UK? Saw it multiple times in the thread. In the UK it's technically illegal to handle salmon under suspicious circumstances. It's one of those old laws that nobody cares about though, and it doesn't matter, kind of like shaking a doormat outside after 8 PM, which is also randomly illegal in the UK, but nobody is gonna arrest you if you do it. Suspicious circumstances doesn't refer to the physical act of holding the salmon in a funny pose or anything like that. It refers to how you came to be in possession of the salmon. Where did it come from? Who gave you it? Was it sourced legitimately? That's the suspicious circumstances, and it's a roundabout way of saying you were handling stolen goods or been involved in poaching. Handling a salmon suspiciously. Apparently abortions in Alabama. Prostitution. They would have to keep a record of their earnings for taxes. Building on my property without having a permit or asking for permission of the local government. Stores selling alcohol outside 0.9% or 21.00. Stores selling alcohol stronger than 5.5% ABV. The alcohol retailer Alco Incorporated has a monopoly on anything stronger. Downloading movies from the internet without paying for them. Drugs. Then, we could regulate them safely and at a cheap price so that addicts could not die and also not go to jail. Can we worry about life-saving medication being cheap first though? My cousin is a type 1 diabetic and has friends that drive to Canada every month for insulin. Someone can fact check me on this, but I think the founders of Humalog Insulin gave the rights away for free because they didn't think anybody should profit on something so critically necessary. This doesn't fit into the context of the question though. It wasn't a response to the question. Follow the thread. It came across as a sort of "there are starving children in Africa" response to me. True and important, but the topic was things that are illegal that should be legalized. Yes, that's a much larger issue in my opinion. Magic mushrooms. I've used shrooms 4 times to better understand my depression. People often think it's reckless to use psychedelics, but there's a lot of research that proves that it can be used as a tool to help cope with mental illness. Makes no sense why it is considered a hard drug. In North Carolina, it's a misdemeanor to live with someone you're dating and not married to. Automatic knife switchblades, they open no faster than a good ball bearing flipper spelling. In the Netherlands, electric skateboard scooters etc. If it doesn't directly harm someone else, it should not be illegal. Can't play dominoes on Sunday. Psychedelic and dissociative drugs that have been proven to be safe. Calling your guinea pig Napoleon in France, such a pretty name though. Drugs, especially psychedelics. All victimless crimes. Unless you're harming some other non-consenting party, it shouldn't be a crime. If a drug can be used as medicine, and it helps people physically and mentally, it should be legalized. This is coming from a straight edge guy. Cannabis. If you're 25, it has practically no bad effects, if it has enough of the other active chemical in it. Supporting Islamic socialism. Governments should stop cracking down on this like they're terrorists. All drugs should be legal to possess, but not to sell. Like, yeah, let's lock up the addicts, that'll help, not like there's drugs in prison, right? Driving licenses shouldn't be based by age, but by your capabilities. I'm sure a 15-year-old can drive a lot better than a 70 or an 80-year-old, assuming neither drives professionally. This is a bigger case in countries like mine, Egypt, where legal driving age is 18 and taxi fares are really high and buses aren't available everywhere. Life is stressful for high schoolers here, and making means of traveling an extra concern for them is making matters worse. All drugs. Having a certain amount, if cash on hand. Killing someone who molested, murdered, handicapped your family member or friend. Marijuana legalization is happening in a lot of places, but it really should have happened ages ago. The health benefits are a whole debate, but most can agree it's better than alcohol, and this would at least mostly eliminate overdoses and deaths from laced marijuana. If it's regulated, that kind of stuff won't happen.